Okay, day is the 11th. Um, did the inspection today. Not good. Matter of fact, surprised I don't have the inspection report by now. Oh well, I've been still doing all kinds of stuff, helping my new home buyers get that rental until the house is done. But it's so funny. I've done more trying to help them find a rental than most people will do to help somebody buy a house. Man. And then they wonder why people don't help anybody find rentals in this market, because it's different. You know, like on the East Coast, like in New York City, you get 2 months of rent when you help somebody find a rental. No, that's what George Costanza did in Seinfeld. He was a rental agent. In DC area, get 1 month of rent. So you can make a living from it. Here, you get $250. And, you know, people are renting you around for $250. In all honesty, it's not even going to cover my gas. But I do it because I consider it part of the home buying or home selling process. And a lot of realtors don't. And it surprises the shit out of me, because I'm buying somebody's like buying a new home build, which is some of the easiest stuff in the world to do. And then somebody needs a temporary house. Oh, that's not my job. I don't do rentals. Or like, a few times, like when I'm representing the seller, and sometimes representing the buyer, and you got a tenant in the house. I help the tenant find a new damn house, because that's part of the process to get them the fuck out of that house. I just don't believe people don't do that. Had a lady call me up one day like crying. I was in Atlanta at the time, and she had sold her house, sold it too quick because it sold in the first weekend. But she was buying a house or building a house that was going to be built for 9 months. And the agent, who, by the way, represented her on selling the house, was basically getting free money from the new build, because in most cases, you ain't got to do shit on a new build. It's just free money. And she wouldn't help her. This person's going to make just tons of fucking money. It wouldn't help this woman. I just don't believe this shit, but it happens all day long. Sometimes people get so damn lazy. I remember this one case, without going too deep into it, purely because it's another issue. Called up a realtor because she wanted to see a new home build. All the realtor did was pick up the phone and call them and put her on the list and tie her to her. It was KB Homes. I remember it. And so she eventually, I go there with her. It's like, we looked over and, she's already registered with this other realtor. And if she buys a home here, we have to pay the other realtor. And the lady's like, she never came out. She wouldn't even leave. I begged her to come and help me with this house, and she wouldn't do it. Shit like that's just so fucking common, man. What I originally was going to talk about today was I was driving. I was thinking about this one situation. I was coming back this afternoon. It's like, this is what I'm going to make a video about today. And it was like something that happened when I was still on active duty. So I was past, my 20 years, so I could retire at any time. And long story short, my last couple of years or so in the Air Force, I didn't have to take my full PT test because, to summarize it, I'm a thick guy, but I was passing my PT test. Well, I'd gotten to a point, my knees are really bad and all this stuff. And I would like do all this stuff to prep up just to take that one test, just get all strapped up to take it. And so a couple of weeks out from my test, the commander wanted me to take a practice test. I'm sitting there trying to explain to him what goes on for me to try to take a PT test because I was so broken. No, but I passed the damn practice test, and then I go to take the damn real one. I failed it for the reason because my body couldn't recover in 2 weeks. By the way, I could never take a PT test again, and that's the reason I'm a disabled veteran now, because of the shit this fucker did. Yeah, he did a lot of shit. He turned that squadron around upside down and shit for no, so he could make Colonel. But anyway, the funny story is like I go in to do my because you got to get it signed off by the flight surgeon, and I'm just sitting there. You know how like the medical tables and shit. You know, sometimes I have the back up, and I'm like sitting there, got my hands behind my thing, and I'm you know how tall it is. I got my feet swinging back and forth. The doctor comes in. It's like, I notice you haven't taken your PT test. I mean, I was taking the PT test, but it wasn't a full one. I didn't do the, you know, the run/walk part of it because he fucked me up, and I've never recovered to this day. And he's like, well, you know, because of the amount of time, if I do this again, we may have to MEB you, Medical Evaluation Board. I'm like, oh, okay, I got a solution for that. I'm just sitting there like this. I'm just going to go back to the squadron after I do this, and I'm going to put in my retirement paperwork. And he's like, you're retirement eligible? I'm like, yeah. I've only been doing this shit because there's a pilot shortage, and I've been just hanging around to help out. But if y'all don't need me, fuck it. I'll just leave right now and just put in my retirement paperwork for 6 months from now. Actually, you can retire within 120 days is the minimum. But I was like, nah, just put in the min. I'll be gone in 120 days. And I got like 90 days of of leave built up. I'll just go terminal. So yeah, okay, thanks. Just sitting there like do. Then he just sits there and he's like all defeated and shit. Signs and goes, here's your waiver. There's nothing like being in a position where you can say, fuck you. You know that old good having fuck you money? That was the equivalent of fuck you money. Right before, when I was thinking about doing this one, something else popped up. Matt Gaetz needs to be prosecuted for treason and hung by the neck. And I say that because he was trying to pull a fucking stunt and had defense officials and then asking stupid ass questions like, do we have military personnel in Ukraine? Do we have any other military personnel in Ukraine? Have we been giving weapons to the Azmov, whatever that's what motherfuckers are? And then it's like, what is the CIA doing in Ukraine? I mean, this shit is like out in public, and they're like, we can't answer intelligence questions like that. What the CIA is doing in Ukraine? Matt Gaetz is a fucking child molesting idiot. Jesus Christ. To make some kind of political point, you're going to talk about what the military and intelligence does? How fucking stupid can one person be? But then again, he's from Florida. Yeah. It's just like biting the hand that feeds you the largest employer because they said something that you didn't like. Florida man. Yes, Matt Gaetz is Florida man. In personified. I think that is going to be the title of this video for the very few who will watch a crazy old black ass man. Crazy old ass black man. Matt Gaetz is the definition of Florida man. Somebody sitting in the House of Representatives asking questions about what the military and the CIA are doing in another country in an open forum so he can make political points. Fuck you. Good chance if he sees this, he's going to complain that I'm belittling him in some way, and then, yeah, I guess I'm going to get another strike from YouTube, and I won't be able to post for a week. If so, I will do them all. I'll do a week's worth, and you'll know that if I go for a week without posting, that was the reason. How idiotic can one person be? Florida man!